American cities are starting to fall and fall hard. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It is very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. I got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And friends, we got a good one to unpackage today. We're going to have another serious conversation as we examine the health and the fitness of the U.S. economy and the U.S. housing market. Why will we examine the U.S. housing market, you ask? Well, because everything hinges on the U.S. housing market. And this is very multi-layered, of course, because commercial real estate is going to contribute to this one. Listen, friends, the realities are, and like I said, if you're new, please subscribe. Subscribe right away. There's never been a more important time in history to get forward thinking, critical thinking, centered and surrounded with like-minded people. But the realities are one of the things that we've talked about before, at least I have, and you've been nice enough to listen. Thank you guys. Love you very, very much. Is, what's the realistic scenario or possibility or the percentage of likelihood or the severity of a foreclosure crisis being produced from this one? And the realities are it's guaranteed, because anytime you've placed the housing market in a bubble, it's always produced a crash, which is ultimately a foreclosure crisis. And this bubble's much worse than the '08 bubble. It grew faster to all-time, never-seen-before highs, and then the way it was constructed artificially, there was no fundamentals that supported this at any level. The last crash was primarily due to loose lending. This one has so many bigger issues that it's contending with. This one will play out. So as we continue to raise awareness, ring the bell, sound the alarm to let people know what's coming, so when it hits, they're less blindsided, paralyzed by fear, and operate more efficiently within that because they've heard somebody talk about it in a way that makes a little bit of sense. That is hopefully what we're doing here, and I know it is. But more importantly, now we have to discuss, like I predicted this summer, we're going to see what we saw, which was a flood of inventory and price reductions and everything. Now, the dominoes are falling. And the biggest red hot areas in the nation are the first dominoes to fall. We're all seeing that as well. One of my subscribers, thank you guys so much, asked if I could look up this area and do a report on it. So we're going to go ahead and roll something from our friends at Zillow, a property I looked up. So let's go ahead and roll this footage to drive our point home. Then we're going to come back here, wrap it up. Let's get started. All right, friends, buckle up and strap in. Hold on to your hats and glasses. Welcome to Scottsdale, Arizona, the most sought after area in the state. This is where all the wealthiest people live, and as you can see, every single property here are all going through price reductions. Let's go ahead and pick one and open it up and see what we can find in Scottsdale, Arizona in terms of their property values and what they're exactly doing. This one's currently on the market at $1,195,000. It just experienced a price cut of $180,000. Absolutely staggering. Now let's take a look at the actual property. And here you go. Looks decent from the outside. How about the inside? What do you guys think? To me, this one is looking a little dated, which is probably why it's stuck on the market going through price reductions. It looks like maybe grandma and grandpa lived here, and it's in fact its original finishes, right down to wallpaper and tile and grout countertops. I have to laugh at this stuff. It's a built-in self-defense mechanism to wrap my head around what we're looking at here, friends. My gosh, I feel like I'm in a time capsule. Let's keep going and see what the meat and potatoes are of exactly why this property continues to sit on the market. And as we can see, it doesn't show exceptionally well. It was built in the 70s, and it definitely shows it. It's an all-electric house, apparently no gas for the property, and it does in fact have HOA fees attached with it. It's only been on the market for 18 days and already had taken $180,000 price cut, which is absolutely huge. Doesn't have very many saves compared to its views. People are skipping right over this one.
And here we go. After only 11 days on the market, it's already had to slash its price by $180,000. And as we can see, due to a ridiculous amount of appreciation these properties face, they're now in a massive tax boat with their property taxes absolutely spiking while their property values are set to drop. And as we can see, just its mortgage and HOA payment alone puts this well over $6,500, probably closer to $7,000, and just your cost to run this house. This would in fact be a $10,000 a month property at minimum to live out in the 120-degree heat in an outdated house. Let's get back to the studio and wrap it up.
All right, friends, welcome back. So yeah, that's what's going on, Scottsdale, Arizona. You know, that's one of the nicest areas in Arizona. And like I said, the bigger you grow, the harder you fall in a real estate bubble. So we're going to see that continue to happen. So one of the things I want to really remind people of is now it becomes more of timelines. How does this really play out? And I want us to be very painfully clear on how this plays out, because like I said, it's going to play out. There's just no sugarcoating it. Even as a guy who loves real estate, owe a lot to real estate, work in real estate, will take a hit on my real estate again. This time I'm much more prepared. I might not be recession proof, recession insulated, just like the heavy hitters got out of these markets a long time ago. That was what I did from day one. I just never bought into this whole FOMO. Most people, no fault to their own. I'm going to help many people as this thing unfolds, try to be a voice of clarity no matter where you're at on this. That's my commitment to everybody here. But the realities are this one plays out, and how it plays out is potentially a foreclosure crisis. Now, it's too early. Now, like I talked about before, a lot of these websites, like the one we just visited, Zillow, Opendoor, Redfin, you name it, any big website, they're going to try to capitalize now on reverse FOMO, just like they tried to sell you FOMO and get us to click and schedule tours and do this and talk to an agent, blah, blah, blah. They were contributing to the problem. And here at the channel, you know what we always say, let's get out of the problem and in the solution. So what I really want to be is forward thinking, critical thinking, let you know foreclosures will come. These websites are going to try to sell you foreclosure listings, subscription-based, clickbait foreclosure listings. Don't do it. Just stay close to this channel. I'm going to navigate us through that. Also, I hate to say this, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be facing foreclosure that are watching today or potentially watching today. Don't panic, except we have all had to take our lumps. Like I said, I don't regret going through the last financial crisis, buying a property in the height of the euphoria and ultimately getting rid of the property. Acceptance is always the answer to all our problems. But the one thing I will say, I don't want to do the same thing over expecting a different result. A bunch of people drank the Kool-Aid in this real estate bubble that were around in the last bubble, and they drank the Kool-Aid again. They did the same thing over expecting a different result. And that, my friends, is in fact the definition of insanity. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, somebody wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life, understanding the biggest artificially created housing bubble in world history will have its blowback. It is all playing out as we speak. The dominoes are starting to fall. We examined in just one of 100 areas that are going through the same thing. The majority of all properties now coming to market are experiencing price reductions. We're going to get back to pre-pandemic levels at minimum. And there's probably a pretty good chance we're going to see a lot of areas be, in fact, like I reported on an earlier video this year, properties will be eventually pennies on the dollar. Some of those areas you won't want to touch with a 10-foot pole because it's going to potentially look like just a foreclosure festival war zone, potentially. We'll monitor that, but the realities are, friends, by this time next year, by summer of 2023, there's a very high likelihood we're talking about the foreclosure crisis. And what do we know out of mainstream media? Once they get a hold of it, it is over. If you appreciate the content, I do want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Social media links are in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you're interested in buying or selling real estate here in America, there's an email in the description for you. I have a network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you, and it would be our absolute honor and privilege to do so. If you want more of me, I have a sports channel, motorcycles industry, in the description as well. Walting Wanders, where I'm blowing the lid off of that industry. Absolutely love that industry. Worked in it for many years, so it's been kind of a fun thing for me to get involved with. I think some of you might enjoy that. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. I'll see you on the next video.